Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah for coming. Alhamdulillah, let's first renew our intention. We have come here for the talk, not for the food. Alhamdulillah, nowadays brothers start practicing alhamdulillah and they forget the main concept of our religion builds on manners. They start practicing, they start going into big subjects and they forget the small stuff that actually make the big things. So subhanAllah, I went to a talk the other day by Ustadh and subhanAllah, the Baba said there's a sheikh, he lived in he's a Kuwaiti, he's a Kuwaiti, and he was in Africa almost his whole life. And he never preached, he just gave food, being nice to people. And you'll be shocked how many people actually come to Islam from his dawah. And the number was 7 million people. 7 million people. That's just from his manners, akhlaq, alone. SubhanAllah, we have to question ourselves. Sometimes we have a lot of knowledge with us, but we don't know because of our manners. SubhanAllah, that alone can take us to hellfire, because we don't know if someone saw us being rude on the street, and if we know, is this how Muslims are? I don't want to be a Muslim. So imagine that, you're going to be questioned for that on the Day of Judgment. Alhamdulillah, we have a guest speaker today. Alhamdulillah, Ustadh Ibrahim. Ustadh Ibrahim has a Bachelor in Science. He has completed his Alamiya degree and Islamic diploma. He has studied Quranic and Arabic under many different shuyukh. He is currently an Imam and Khatib for a mosque in West London. He is also an Arabic and Islamic studies teacher for Islamia Academy, in East London. He has been in the field of dawah and teaching for 10 years. So I'll pass it on to him, inshallah.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون واعتصموا بحبل الله جميعا ولا تفرقوا قل إن صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين لا شريك له وبذلك أمرت وأنا أول المسلمين أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. After praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending peace and blessings upon his final messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, I want to say a big thank you to the brothers from Camdendawahcentre for inviting me today, and jazakumullah khair to each and every one of you for attending as well. May Allah increase your scales with hasan yawm al-qiyamah. I know the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam who said, Man salaka tariqan yutlub bihi ilma sahla Allahu tariqan ila jannah. The one who treads a path seeking knowledge, Allah will make easy for him the path to Jannah, and I'm sure that is what we all want to attain, is it not, my dear brothers? All of this hardship in the dunya, the life, and the things that we go for. I mean, today you could be just sitting at home, relaxing, feet up. I'm sure there must be something to entertain you, but you're here instead to listen to me. And even myself, I travelled some distance to get to you, inshallah. So we ask Allah to accept it from us. As for the topic the brothers asked me to speak about, no doubt it's a very important topic, talking about akhlaq, talking about manners, you can say etiquettes. It was only just yesterday I was speaking to a brother and we were talking about the issue of what makes a person who they are. And this brother was saying to me, after you seek Islamic knowledge, I think, Sheikh, we should all become doctors. This is what he was saying to me. Sheikh, we should all become doctors because the doctor is the one who has the prestige in society. If you want to grab the attention of the people, even non-Muslims look up to doctors. I said, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Jazakallah khair for that point. But I have to disagree with you. I have to disagree with this point because I'm someone who read Quran and Sunnah. If this is just some person's opinion, it's fine. They can hold their opinion. But if you're looking at the way to revive a nation, the way forward, then to just become doctors or to become engineers and so on is not the way forward. Rather, if you look to the example of the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, it was the knowledge and the Islamic knowledge and the practical practice of this knowledge that moved our nation forward. The brother, he didn't still get it. I said, you want me to give you an example? I'll give you an example. Only the other day I went to a doctor, and I'm getting a bit old now, a few grey hairs. So if I have a little cough, I get worried, you know. 1 foot in the grave, they say. So I have a little cough, I'm a bit concerned, what is it? So I went to the doctor, Muslim doctor. This is the doctor for you. You walk in, yes, come in. I've walked in, take a seat. This is him. I said, what is the problem? My problem is I have a cough. I don't know where it's from. Something going around, don't worry, drink plenty of water, take rest, you're fine. Thank you. Muslim doctor, thank you. I was like gobsmacked. I was going to, would not even look up. So where is the salam? Where's wa alaikum salam? None of this. Where is this ruhamah bainahum? The Muslims have mercy amongst themselves. Muslim doctor, he said, thank you. Oh, you're finished now, thank you. Khalas. So I said to this brother, this is not what is going to bring about revival. This is not what caused people to embrace al-Islam. And myself, I didn't bother. The man is not giving me any attention. For me to just have an argument for the sake of argument doesn't gain anything now. But this is what you got. So the manners is the most important thing that we have. Because it is the message of all of the previous Anbiya. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that the prophets, when they used to come to the people, they used to say to the people, if you have no shame, do as you wish. If you have no shame in a matter, do as you wish. Be on your way. Now, the scholars, they looked at this hadith. For the prophets to come and tell the people, do as you wish, is this like making something mubah? Making something permissible? It wasn't. It means if you don't fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you don't fear the way you treat the people around you, and you don't even fear the fact that you're going to be someone who's sinful, then do as you wish. You continue. You're not concerned about Allah, you're not concerned about mankind, you're not concerned about even the fact that you're somebody who may be sinning, and should you rectify yourself, be on your way. Do as you wish. This is from amongst the hadith collected in Ibrahim. Imam Nawawi collected this. The scholar said this means that this person, he's been warned by the prophets. But the prophets, when they warned, they used the best and most eloquent of speech. They used to tell the people, but they were serious about what they were saying. So when it comes to etiquettes, when we're talking about etiquettes and manners, it's what makes you who you are. Have you ever studied the topic Muslim personality? The Muslim personality does not necessarily mean the fact that you have studied so much fiqh or so much Quran and so on. You will find the Muslim personality is all about how you relate to the rest of humanity. Because it is your identity. It is who you are. Now, one of the things, and again it's my age maybe, I think it's my age now more. I remember, because I'm like yourself, I grew up in this country. I went to nursery in this country. I didn't come over on the boat, you know. I'm like yourself. But this helps me, this persona helps me with the chachas. I get the front row in the masjid like I did earlier on. They push me for it. Allah Sheikh, go. It helps, this persona helps. But I'm like yourself, I grew up in this country in the West. But I used to recall, growing up, I used to recall the people I used to chat to and so on, and some of the older than they used to say, we remember the good old days. They used to say this, and I used to think, oh man, go away. What is this? But they used to say this, people used to say, I remember the good old days. Because when you're young, you don't care about time. But even now, when I recall, and many years have gone, and I think, look at my childhood, because I have children. I have 2 boys, mashallah, and two girls, and they're going to grow up in this society. And I worry for them. Because I remember the time when I used to be amongst the people, growing up in here, my mum and dad would let me out. And I could be out all day. And the only scratch I would have is that if I fell over, trip over the ball, try to do too much skill. That's it. But today, would I let my teenage son go out? No. I wouldn't let him just go out for him on the street. You don't know where he is. 3-4 hours would be agonizing for me. Because if I just say, you go out and do what you want, I don't know what he's got into. If he's got into a fight, if he's hanging out with bad people. This is the society we live in, is this not? This is what we live, this is the society we're living in. What has changed for the people? Time is the same. You still need to eat, still need to work, you need to sleep, you need to have some fun, yes? Are you looking forward to the Olympics? No, everyone wants to get out of the country in the Olympics. But we all have the same needs, yes? What has changed? The morals of the people. The morals of the people have changed. The way people perceive each other, the akhlaq, the mannerisms, the etiquettes between people have changed. There was a time when, you know, our brothers and sisters nowadays, they all got the, you see the brothers nowadays, they got the nice trim beard, okay, and sisters got just a scarf, and they hold each other's hand, and they sit on each other's laps and so on. We would never dream of doing this. We never dream of doing this. Because we had shame, yes? But this is what you'll find in society today. If I say in the area I'm from, you wake up in the morning and outside your doorstep, maybe on the street, you find an empty bottle of vodka. Who do you think drank that? Tell me. Non-Muslim or Muslim? Muslim. Now he'll be a Muslim. He will be with his mates in the car and so on. So what am I saying? We're finding Muslim doing this. We don't have to complain about the society in itself. We're finding that even amongst our Muslims, this is what's happening. People have lost shame. And al-haya min shu'bat min al-iman. Al-haya, the modesty, is, as the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, is part of the branches of iman. So when people lose this, they are treading a very dangerous path when they're doing this. When the person doesn't realize he's ill-mannered, he's got arrogance, he's got hasad, because these are all diseases that people have, yes? If you're not sincere to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you don't follow the sunnah, this is what will happen to you. Very dangerous. Person has to return back to Allah. Return back to Allah. Make tawbah, and that's the only way you will get the hidayah again. So, this is the times that we are living in. So, the person who doesn't have manners, when the prophets told them to do as they wish, it doesn't mean that they're not going to be accountable. The reality is still the same. The ostrich, when he puts his head in the ground and he's being attacked, does the attack stop? But he does it. What is it? It's called a defense mechanism. Probably the weakest defense mechanism I've ever heard of. But it's a defense mechanism. He doesn't want to see himself getting eaten and so on. Sticks his head in the ground. But like that, people, if they were to go on and continue as they are, and do as they wish, that doesn't change the reality. Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut, thumma ilayna turja'un. Every soul shall taste death. Then return back to who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, the topic, as the brother, he said, is mannerism and manners. And he wanted it to be linked to the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because for us to be good in this society, kind of tough. Very tough. I teach children in madrasa, yes? Youngsters. On the verge of going on to becoming teenagers and so on. And I can see how tough it is for them. Because of the role models that they have. You like football, yes? Best player in the world at the moment. Somebody shout it out. Who do you think? Messi. Messi. Last shot? Yaqeen on this? That's how people are nowadays. Messi, the best player in the world. Yeah. So I have when I have children in my class, I'm trying to give them an example of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Sahaba. Who am I competing against? I'm Messi. I really tripped up the other day on a lot of these rappers because I'm not with the names. I said, Tinchy, striker, Riker, you know. Because I thought R. Kelly's not going to stick. This is when I was in uni, R. Kelly or somebody like that. I said, they said, Ustadh, you don't even go there. Don't go there. I think I got one name, Little Wayne. And I don't know how small he is, Allah. But anyway. This is what I'm competing against, yes? But I'm trying to instill in them manners, role model. And what are they saying? This is what they say. Alhamdulillah, I like a challenge. This is what the dawah is all about. This is what teaching is all about. Challenge and overcoming the challenge and so on. So this is what we have. So the main thing for us is that we need to instill and we need to understand that Islam is all about manners. It's about principles. It's about morals. This is what makes us different from, say, the rest of humanity. The fact is, what do we believe is good morals? What do we believe are the principles that we need to follow, and so on? What is even goodness? This is something that we need to have a clear mind and have a clear definition in our head. And this all comes back to having a good example. All comes back to have a good example. Allah Azza wa Jalla said to us, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. Verily for you there is an excellent example in who? The Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now we need to think about this, because we can't relate to the Prophet, yes? No one's seen the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We're talking about somebody who lived over 1400 years ago. If I open my history books 1400 years ago, what do I find? We're talking about barbarians. We're talking about people who didn't have even toilet amenities. Even the Arabs, they would go in the desert, yes? There was no vacant and engaged style. There wasn't. You just did it. Can you see the society? But this is the example for us. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, ila yawmul qiyamah, to the last day. And what did Allah Azza wa Jalla say with the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. O Muhammad, you are an exalted and high character. You are so elevated. That's why there's many titles the Prophet ﷺ has. Amongst them, khayru khalqi. Khalq and khuluq sound similar, doesn't it? What does khalq mean? Those in Arabic, khalq. Khalq means creation. Yes? Khulq, slight difference, one little vowel. Manners. Very close. Creation and the mannerism. Very close. Khayru khalqi, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The best teacher of manners is who? Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Best of creation teaches you the best way to conduct yourself. Best of creation teaches the best way to conduct yourself. Now, many of us, we like to hear the lives of people who come into Islam, yes? And I know there's many of these people who do talks and talk about, I used to be with these gang, the bad boys, was the outlaws. One of them, anyway, bad boys are outlaws. I used to be with so and so, and they talk about the bad past, yes? And some people, we like that, yeah? We think, oh man, yeah, he had the life, yes? But now he's Muslim, alhamdulillah, yeah? We have people like this, yes? But you know, when Allah Azza wa Jalla sends messengers, we can dig into the past of people, like the prophets and messengers. You won't find any bad boy traits. There is no bad boy traits. So when you look to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what was he called before? Al-Amin, the trustworthy. The Prophet ﷺ is not known for drinking, womanizing. He's not known ﷺ for lying to people. He's trustworthy. I bought a car from a Muslim. I did the right thing. This is a true story. I bought a car from a Muslim. I did the right thing. I wrote a contract. He signed the contract. I said, why is the car so cheap? I thought, mashallah, maybe so Muslim brother would be it. Alhamdulillah. He signed it. He gave me a good deal. I said, mashallah, I was really in need of a car. Alhamdulillah, answered my door. 2 weeks later, what do I get? Police letter. You are involved in a hit and run on this date. This brother said he had to go abroad. Sold me the car cheap. Police constable is writing to me saying, you are involved in hit and run. I have to write back to the police and say, I don't know what you're talking about. This day I didn't even have the car. Who lied to me? Tell me who lied. Was it John and Jack? Barry? No. Someone called Muhammad. This is what you will get. Muhammad, the most praiseworthy, yes? This is the person who is lying to you. Prophet ﷺ, he never lied. Not before prophethood and not after when he became prophet. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam never did this. But the people, they used to call him what? Majnoon. Majnoon is what? Madman. They called him Sha'ir. Sha'ir, which means poet. The Quran, they couldn't accept, they said it's poetry. Sahir. Magician. These are titles that were given to the Prophet ﷺ, but was not to praise the Prophet ﷺ. Though he is called Muhammad ﷺ. In the Sama he is called Ahmad, the most praiseworthy. When he ﷺ was being called these names, it was to degrade his character. to degrade the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But he sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was not fazed by this, because Allah is the one who purifies, yes? Allah is the one who will protect his wali, his friend. وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. You are an exalted and high character. So why did I mention this, that he sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't have a bad boy past? Because we're impressed by this. People who are bad in society, they are role models today. Whether they be musicians. The worst musician, the one who gets paid the most. People want to book this person. I follow the news a little bit. So there was some female pop star, she got an award for best album or something. When they cut her speech short, what did she do? Do you know? Do you know what she did? To the organizer, she showed the finger. She just got an award from the same people. They invited her, said, "You, mashallah, you're one of the best speakers. We give you a prize for your album." Because she wanted to say, "I want to thank so and so, so and so." When they cut the talk short, what did she do? She showed the finger. Now you would say, this is bad akhlaq. In public you can do this. The whole world sees this. What happens to ourselves? Tell me. Goes down or up? Up. Society we live in. Footballer. The footballer, he has skill on the pitch, alhamdulillah, yes? MashaAllah, okay? But off the pitch, he's what? Womanizing. He's doing this, he's squandering money, so and so. He's drunk himself silly, he's crashed his car. What happens to him? Everybody wants to sign him. He just signed a contract, 5 million. Next person, no, I want him 10 million. Subhanallah, he has not even touched the pitch yet, but I want him. Role model, you know why? I have this person, even though he's khabith. There's no tayyibat, there's no good in him, he's khabith. People want him because this is a role model for society. This is the person that will bring people through and pay money. Na'udhu billah. That's what we are competing against. Can you see? So that's why it's important for us that we understand our morals, we understand our principles. That we don't say we are going to practice this stuff and we dilute it. A bit of this, a bit of that, and so on and so on. We shouldn't be like this. Rather be firm upon what we are. Like the Prophet ﷺ was. So that's why in the time of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there was a Sahabi called Abu Dhar al-Ghifari. Anyone know? Hands up who know heard this name before. MashaAllah, Sheikh. Apart from the Sheikh? MashaAllah. Anybody else? If you don't know about Abu Dhar al-Ghifari, what do I understand sitting here? What does that tell me? You tell me. If you don't know about Abu Dhar al-Ghifari, what does it tell me?
We don't know our role models.
You don't know your role models? What else don't you know? You don't even know the one you call Muhammadur Rasulullah. I'm a teacher, yes? Okay? One of the things I teach people is obviously Aqidah and Fiqh, but I teach Sirah, Tarikh, history. How are you going to love the Prophet ﷺ if you don't know who ﷺ was and who it was that the Prophet ﷺ interacted with? Lionel Messi plays for Barcelona, yes? What was the team before that? Do you know? Anybody know? Do you know what the team was? Too shy to say now, aren't you? Okay, what number does he wear? Tell me then at least. What number does he wear? Okay, everyone very shy to say that. Okay, I'm going to go back tomorrow to my madrasa. I'm going to say to the boy, there's one boy, mashallah, a beautiful footballer. Okay? He loves Lionel Messi. Okay? Absolutely. The guy comes in with his Adidas and so on, football boots into the madrasa. But you know what? I don't mind because he's never late, very punctual, and his hifz, mashallah. I don't mind, because that's what keeps him going, alhamdulillah. But when I have him for the 2 hours, he's mine, mashallah. If I speak to him, he'll tell me everything and so on, okay? But then I say, when you grow up, do you want to be Lionel Messi? You know what he'll say? He'll say, no. He said, I don't want to be Lionel Messi. Why is that? He said, because of the fact, have you seen what he does outside the football pitch? He drinks all the time. Ustadh, all that money he wasted gambling. I don't want to be like him. But he's a good footballer. Can you see the difference? So why do I talk about football to him? Because he loves it. That's his passion. Sa'atan wa sa'a. Hour for an hour. Children must be children. The best time that we remember is when? When our childhood, innocence. But I try to give them good role models. I try to be even a good role model for them and so on. So Abu Dhar al-Ghifari, if you don't know about it, it means you don't know what happened to the Rasul in Mecca. Abu Dhar al-Ghifari was someone from outside Mecca. Now one of the things is the word spread that there's a prophet appeared in the Arabian Peninsula and he's claiming that he's been sent by Allah Azza wa Jalla. Abu Dhar al-Ghifari, he sent his brother who was a poet and said, go and investigate. When his brother went, he couldn't find the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he wandered and he managed to hear the Quran. He managed to hear the Quran and then came back and he reported Abu Dhar and he said, I didn't see the man they call him the Prophet, because they had not proclaimed Islam yet. So they said, I didn't see Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but I heard people speak highly of him. I heard some of the Quran, but I didn't meet him. See, Abu Dhar, he wasn't satisfied with that. He said, no, I'm not going to accept that. Abu Dhar, he set off himself. Because this is what his brother had come and told him, that I've heard good stuff about him. What would the Quraysh say about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Bad stuff. He's a madman. He's come to separate family. He's come to do this. They were speaking ill of his character. Abu Dhar said, no, this is really confusing for me. The Quraysh, the leaders, society, the nobles are saying bad stuff, and you come in and tell me that the people generally are saying good stuff. I will go and investigate. So when Abu Dhar, he went there, he couldn't find the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was looking in the markets, he was looking here, didn't find him. So he found a young lad. And the Arab, they have a tradition that if somebody comes from outside, if you want to stay, Yallah, come to my house. Come and stay with me. I give you food, boarding, free of charge. Quite nice, isn't it? I don't think I'm travelling distance, so I'm not going to stay overnight. But normally, if I was a traveller, you have to put me up for 3 days, for 3 nights. And the kebab on the menu, order it 3 times over, inshallah. This is what they used to do. So Abu Dhar, he stayed with this young lad. And this young lad observed Abu Dhar, that he would go in the day, look, come back, and then in the night, he would eat and go to sleep. I mean, there wasn't much conversation going on. Until the last day, the 3rd day. By then, we have a sunnah, after 3 days, khalas akhi, you know, no more food, no more drink, khalas, bank account down, khalas, make dua for me. This is what you do. After 3 days, you go and move on. But the young lad, he goes, what did you come here for? What did you come here for? He said, I came looking for a man who's a prophet, called Muhammad, and I never found him. So the young lad said, come with me if you're looking for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'll show you. Who was this young lad, do you know? Who was the young lad? Ali, radiallahu ta'ala anhu. It was Ali. Abu Dhar, who is the chief of a tribe, he stayed with Ali. Ali didn't let on who he was, because he thought, this man is a stranger, he's not Muslim. If I go let on I'm a young lad who's Muslim, maybe they'll take me, do something to me. So he didn't bother. In the end, he took him to the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Abu Dhar spent just a few short moments in the front of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A few short moments in front. He just listened to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. 3 days he's been looking. Saw the Prophet for a short time, straight away embraced Islam. And he said that he knew as soon as he saw the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he knew that wasn't the face of a liar. When he saw the face of the Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he knew straight away he wasn't a madman. He knew straight away he wasn't someone who was a magician. He embraced, subhanAllah. Because of what? Based upon the character, the morals of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So this is our standard, my dear Muslims. I didn't give that example just to say, MashaAllah, and that's it. This is the standard we should try to attain. Be truthful in what we do. Even when we treat people in a nice manner. That's why the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is our role model, and what the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave us by way of teaching is what we should follow. Remember I said in the beginning, I had this chat with that brother about the doctor. Can you see how different the example of the doctor is to when we speak about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? So there's a hadith. So now the issue is etiquettes. The etiquettes that we have and the etiquettes that we have to carry with us. How should we understand this topic, inshallah ta'ala? There's one hadith I'm going to quote now, and inshallah ta'ala will explain what I want us to understand from this topic today. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, Ittaqillah haythama kunta. Have you heard this hadith before? Ittaqillah, what does this mean? Fear Allah haythama kunta. Wherever you are, you need to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa'atba sayyi'ah al-hasana tamhuha. And you follow up a bad deed or something evil that you've done with what? Something good. What will it do? You eradicate it. I mean that's gone. وَخَالِقَ النَّاسِ بِخُلُقٍ حَسَنٍ. And when you treat the people, how should you treat them? With good etiquettes. An-nas. An-nas means what? Mankind. Now, this is the hadith we're going to, inshallah, study a little bit now to explain to us how we should conduct ourselves. First and foremost, when it comes to etiquettes, yes, the first and foremost person that you should be worried about when it comes to etiquette and concerned with the mannerism is who? Ittaqillah. Fear who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. See, as Muslims, there is a certain etiquette in the way we deal with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Give you an example. The Sahaba, full of Iman. They're going to where? Jihad. Fi sabilillah. They're climbing up a mountain. The mountain is high, yes? Who is above the mountain? Who is higher than the mountain? What would you say naturally? Allahu Akbar, yes? You would say Allahu Akbar. They're climbing. They're in the army. They're fighting fi sabilillah. If they die in this state, they die as shaheed. What is the reward for the shaheed? Jannah. What more? Soul put into the birds. What will they have? What are they? Virgins. They're on high iman, high spirits. They say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar as they're going up. The Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam heard them. And he said, oh my companions, the one you're calling, he's not far at all. You don't need to shout. You don't need to shout. Allah says, if my servants ask where I am, فَإِنِّي قَرِيب, I'm close. Closer than your jugular vein. This is Allah Azza wa Jal. So, first etiquette we need to understand is that when we call upon Allah, to understand that even though He is above the 7 heavens, He is close for us, each and every one of us. And it is Allah that wants us to call upon Him. Ud'uni astajib lakum. Allah said, call upon me and I will respond to each and every one of you. So the question now is, do we actually call upon Allah? Do we even think about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? This is what we've got to think. You know, when you do an action, do you even begin in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? See, the first etiquette that you have is, you should be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Firstly, that He created you, yes? And you're all Muslims here, yes? Any Rivas here or born Muslims? All born Muslims? Riva, yeah? Riva or born Muslim? MashaAllah. Okay? Firstly, like the brother who's reading, MashaAllah, we see the nur on his face, he had a hurdle to come over, you know that. But Allah yahdi man yasha. Allah guides whoever wishes. Alhamdulillah, he's here with us. And he's a brother, an akh fi din, now, alhamdulillah. But you yourselves, you have been born into a Muslim household. Should you not at least give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Should you not give this? And how do you give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You call upon Him. You praise Him. This is what you should do. So the first etiquette is for us, is that when it comes to relating and our relationship, we should have a tight relationship with who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Any students here today? Anyone studying? MashaAllah. Anyone on job seekers allowance? Be grateful to Allah. Be grateful to Allah. But the students, I'm going to approach you. When you do your exams, you put all the effort in, yes? Okay? When you put all the effort in and you did the exam, do you know, did it even occur to you to ask Allah to support you at that? Or is it when you came to a tough question and you said, Ya Allah? My son, my younger son, if anything falls at him, he will say, Ya Allah. We're laughing, but this is a serious matter, yes? It's a serious matter. Because did we even think that? This exam, what is this exam about? Just to help you continue in life. Is Allah going to ask for the exam paper? Not going to ask for it. It's just to help you along, isn't it? It's a means. But we put so much effort into that. And in amongst this, we put all our time into that. And we didn't think at all about the etiquette of asking Allah, oh Allah guide me. Oh Allah make it easy for me. Can you see how different it would be? Make a huge difference. إِذَا سَأَلْتَ فَاسْأَلِ اللَّهِ وَإِذَا اسْتَعَنْتَ فَاسْتَعِنْ بِاللَّهِ. Hadith said, if you ask of Allah. Success comes from who? Your own effort? Doesn't come from your own effort. All tawfiq is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who's studying Arabic here? Okay, mashallah. How many years have you been studying? Couple of weeks. Mashallah, you started. Rest of you not studying Arabic. Maybe you'll know Arabic. Okay, fine. Alhamdulillah, nabi khair. Masmuka. And I speak, mashallah. Have you got to that stage yet, some of you? No. If you speak to my 6-year-old daughter, she can speak like this. Allah Akbar. Can you see? Tawfiq is from who? The success is from who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We just try a little bit. The success will come. The success will come. So it's important for us to understand that the first etiquette we should have a tight relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We want to go and conquer the world. We want to go and do this. We want to set up corporations here. We want to be Muslim Apple, yes? Muslim Google. We want to do all of this. And we didn't even ask Allah in the first place for the success. Void of barakah. Void of blessing. That's why in the beginning, the brother, he said, let's fix our intention, even before we started talking today. Fix our intention. Then we praise Allah before we started. And then we said, oh Allah, give us hasanat, goodness for this. All of this before we even start to speak. Etiquettes. So when you say, Inna alhamdulillah, when you praise Allah, who's listening? Maybe Fulan is out there, he just realized, oh my God, the Sheikh has just started. Quick, chuck that kebab away. Quick, come and sit down, yeah? But no, the malaika, the angels will come. This is the etiquettes. So first and foremost, we need to have good relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there's many ways we can do this, inshallah ta'ala. And I want you to think about this. I don't need to walk out the door today and just say, oh, brother said, oh, we need to have close relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you've got questions, you want to ask how to draw close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ask me, inshallah ta'ala. If there's something you think needs to be fixed, and is there a doctor in the house, maybe inshallah ta'ala. I'll try and help you. But this is what you should leave. Because you come here to learn about etiquette, you should try to, at least, the least that you have is that you leave here and you have a closer relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At least learn the etiquettes of how to be with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second thing we talked about was what in the hadith? We were talking about if you do something which is called sayyi'ah. Which is sayyi'ah mean? An evil action. You should replace it with hasana. Okay? Now, I'll give you an example. If somebody did something bad, say you backbite somebody, not that you would do, brother. Say you backbited someone. He spoke evil of somebody. Now, you go and give £10 in the mosque pot. Do you think that eradicated it? What do you think that did? No, he didn't do it. But the hadith says that if you do something bad, what should you do? Do a good deed. Do a good deed. See, the thing is, when you do something evil, the hadith is telling you, fear Allah wherever you are, and what should you do? Recognize you done evil in the first place. How many people do we know they don't even recognize they've done something bad? Fearing Allah, having a relationship with Allah in the first place, is to know that you're someone who can err, somebody who can make mistakes. Problem we have with people, and especially ill-mannered people, people who do not have any akhlaq, is they don't think they've done no wrong in the first place. When a gang of boys beat upon one lone boy, and this happens, and I'm sure, I don't know if there's a gang culture here, I'm sure there is. But there's gang culture definitely where I live. There's this gang culture between schools, between areas and so on. When they're at that point, when they're pounding a boy, do you think they think they're doing wrong at all? Tell me. Do you think they even think that at all? What's happened there? Crazy, isn't it? How people are. And this could be even Muslims hitting upon Muslims. When you lose a connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're going to pretty much do anything you want. And the hadith says, you know who a Muslim is? We're all Muslim, inshallah, alhamdulillah, yes? The hadith says, Al-Muslim man salima muslimun min lisanihi wa yadihi. What does this mean? The Muslim is the one. The other Muslims. See, you come and meet me. You know when I leave here that I'm not going to attack you with my tongue. How would you feel if I attacked you with my tongue afterwards? Belittled you with my tongue. How would you feel? You think, astaghfirullah, man. All those years of knowledge, studying, trying to teach us Arabic. I'm not interested, but he's teaching us anyway. And then after that, I leave a bad taste in your mouth. Can you see? That is not the sign of a good Muslim. The one that others feel fearful of his tongue, let alone his hand. And these boys, if you ask them, are they Muslim? What would they say? They're Muslims, yes? The hadith says clearly, other Muslims, they don't get to, you know, the other day this happened at the show. I'm in the mosque, and I parked up. Trying to come out of the mosque, and then some lady, non-Muslimah, she's blocked the path. All she had to do was go to one side and I can get past. What happened? Wouldn't move. What are you doing in here, estate? Get out. Became very aggressive towards me. I didn't say anything. I just said, if you move this way, like ishara, yeah? Move this way, I can go that way. This is what I can see in the mirror, yes? I thought, subhanAllah, mushkil, ain't it? So I just reversed back a little bit and I found a bit of space on the pavement and I went over. One brother, you know how we're brothers, yeah? We support each other. He started saying to a woman, every F word, B word, S word. So I thought, oh my Lord. Now, did that help the situation? I don't know. But some brothers must have thought, yeah, we helped the Sheikh, Marshall, he got out. Jihad, the fi sabilillah. Doesn't help. I understand the frustration, but it doesn't help. So afterwards I said, subhanAllah, this is society we become. This is society we become. The language, as Muslims, we have our own language, we don't use this. So really, if we find Muslims like to use this language, that's not right. It's not right. If Muslims should be saved from your town, we all should be saved from your town. Non-Muslims as well. Because these are the same people. That woman is the same one you want to invite here. What, to where? To Jannah. Can you see? So this is how it's important for us that we firstly recognize when we've done bad deeds. Now the question coming back to the point, will that cover it? No, but it will make things easy in the sense that you have done what? You recognize you've done wrong. But what should you do for the brother? Sometimes dealing with backbiting is very difficult. If you say somebody's got a big nose, okay, I might have a big nose, I can accept it. But if you start talking about his religion and so on, and I don't think this and this, that, and then you go up to him and say, how's he going to feel? Feel terrible, isn't he? Yes? So what you do in this case, you can make dua, you can do lots of things like this. But the fact is, this hadith is telling you, what should you do with your manners? Recognize that you're doing wrong. Kul ibn Adam khatta wa khayra khatta'in at-tawwabun. Every son of Adam is going to make mistake. Who's the best amongst you? Who's the best amongst you? The one who fixes up. The best amongst you is the one who realizes you're going along the wrong path. And you know, even to realize you're going along the wrong path, that is hidayah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you can recognize for one moment that if I hang out with these people, or if I do this action, what's happening? I'm going along the wrong path, that is a form of guidance, because of the fact you recognize this. So that some of the boys that I see driving around with their 19-inch wheels and so on, blaring the music, few girls in the back who hide because they're such a sort of cha-cha. Yeah? And then when they go past the proper, they don't even recognize what they're doing. And nowadays I find children coming out of secondary school, the group of parents, they don't care to even light up. That is what you're finding. So to recognize this, even this, to recognize this, is tawfiq from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I pray Allah gives us the tawfiq to understand what we're going around now. The last thing, and this is the last point we're going to talk about, inshallah, is talking about the issue of being kind to people. Being kind to people, and nas. So people don't understand the etiquettes go a long way. We've got non-Muslim neighbours here. Okay, mashallah, we will have. In fact, you know, when I took my house, when I went to get my house, I asked my Muslim neighbours around there and I said, I'm going to go for this place now. What do you think? What the neighbours like? He said, Kullu Muslim, everyone Muslim. What did I fear? I feared I was going to be some non-Muslim. Not for the fact that they're non-Muslim, I feared like music and so on and all this sort of stuff, partying. You know, because the good neighbour is very important in Islam. So I took this person and I said, I'll take this place. Took the place with my family, we moved in. Next thing I realised, neighbour on this side, non-Muslim. Neighbour on this side, Muslim but going to vacate and now give to non-Muslim. Neighbours all above, all non-Muslim. I mean, kullu non-Muslim. Okay? So, can you see what happened? Now, the reason I ask this, because now you have to live with this state. You know, they say you made your bed, you got to lie in it. And that's my bed, that's my house now, yeah? So now what happens? You have non-Muslims all around you. Now, the hadith says that how should you treat the people? Nas. How should you treat people? With the best of manners. Best of manners. I've been there for years, mashallah. And these neighbours, you know, these neighbours, mashallah, they're so nice, non-Muslim. They're so nice. I'll give you an example. When they have trouble, you know what they do? They come to me and they said, can you ask Allah to make, you know, things easy for me? They haven't even become Muslim yet, but they'll come and say, you know, I'm going through so much trouble at the moment. Can you ask Allah to make things easy for me? Subhanallah. Allah may guide them one day, yeah? Why did they come to me in the first place? Approachable. approachable. Because your character is that you're approachable. See, some people, non-Muslim, they see this, they may run them out. But they're my neighbors. They see me live there. They see me bring out my kids. Once one of my children got hurt, I couldn't bring my wife because my son got hurt. My neighbor, old lady, she drove my wife and the kid. She looked after the baby while my wife was in shock looking at my son who was hurt. Afterwards, who was it that took her home? The same lady. Who came and checked? The same lady. Was there any of the Muslims in the neighborhood that came to check? No. Can you see the difference? So important that you treat people nicely. And that's why even when I talk to my children in the madrasa, and obviously my children, you can understand, I instill these values in them. They come and say, oh Ustadh, a non-Muslim, can we go and do this to them? Can we go do that to them? And I say, no. If it's something bad, who gave you the right to do this? But they're non-Muslims. I say, no. They're human beings. They're human beings. We're all Ibn Adam. We're all son of Adam. This person, Ibn Adam, yes, has a right for you to give them da'wah. Treat them fairly. To see the beauty of Al-Islam. They have a right to see it in you. They're not going to go to a sheikh. They're not maybe even going to walk inside the masjid where the sheikh, mashallah, he studied 15 years in Riyadh or so on. Or Medina. They're not going to have an opportunity, but they see you. They see you. Now the reason I ask you have no Muslim neighbours is how many of you actually know your neighbours? I know all my neighbours. I go to their house. They come to my house, not always sit down, because I have a lot of children, sometimes it can be quite noisy, but they come to my house, have tea and so on, but we do this. How many of you have done this? They're just your neighbour. See, Islam doesn't say you have a non-Muslim neighbour, that, oh, he's non-Muslim neighbour, I have to invite him to Islam straight away. No, Islam says that if you believe in Allah and the last day, then what should you do? Respect your neighbour. Respect your neighbour. This is etiquettes. And this is how we should be, Muslims. So inshallah ta'ala, the topic was speaking about manners. Obviously this is a huge topic. I didn't even talk about children and so on, because I presume most of you are young, yeah? Not married. But if you're somebody who had children, I would talk about the techniques of how you bring up children. There's so many etiquettes that they even have to learn. But it's a vast topic. But inshallah ta'ala, what I want us to understand is that when it comes to mannerisms, let's fix our relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Have the etiquette of how we deal with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and how we call upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and how we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Secondly, even the way we are. If you think you're perfect, you know, infallible, then you're never going to be guided. You have to look at your own shortcomings, recognize it, and then fix up. And then Allah will guide you. You will have a beautiful character. And thirdly, when you treat the people as humanity. Okay? Too much of this gangster Islam doesn't help. You know, we walk around with a chip on our shoulder. It's not from our community. Never had it, and we should never have it. The Sahaba, they gave up everything, any opportunity to go to non-Muslim land. Any opportunity, because they wanted to be the first to take the da'wah there. Allah blessed us by showing us another route, coming as second and third generation immigrants, and we're safer here than even in our own Muslim countries. And we can't give da'wah. Pray Allah subhanahu exit from us. وَقُلُ قَالِ هَذَا أَسْتَغْفِرُ لِي وَلَكُمْ.
Jazakallah khairan for the lovely talk. Well, let's inshallah take the lessons from this talk and try implementing it. Any progress is good progress. So I just remember from another talk basically, one Baba said, the people that revert back into Islam, ironic thing is they run for the light, and we're born into Islam and we run away from the light. You know, subhanAllah. So let's try, you know, inshallah open up to Q&A. Anyone got any question and answers or comments? You want to add one?
Yeah, basically what happened is that I had a neighbour, and they actually had some shopping, and then at shopping I was about to help them, and I saw those bags of alcohol. Do you think I should have helped him in any way? What do you think I should have done?
Okay, inshallah. The neighbour had a bag of alcohol. Was it just alcohol he had, or other stuff? Other bits and pieces and so on.
Majority alcohol. Okay,
alhamdulillah, salatu wasalam. You are there to help the neighbour. If the neighbour is in need of something, then you help them. If it's a case of carrying shopping, the majority is the shopping is mixed and so on, then you help them in this instance because they need the help. Musa'ada. They need the help in lifting and so on. What you got to understand is what is the ibaha which is permissible for them is different to us. What is permissible for them is different to us. So in this case, what was the purpose of the helping? Because they needed the help. That's what it is. It's not the fact that you're promoting alcohol or saying to them, it's just a bag. You helped it through and so on. It's their shopping. This is what they have, so on. So at that time, you stopped, but could you have grabbed another bag instead? Did you think about that?
Yeah.
You could have grabbed another bag instead. So you take that and I'll take that. Hikmah. But to get into a full-blown debate about alcohol is not right at that time. I have debates with people selling, have an off-license opposite a mosque. I said to the brother, why you set up off-license? Firstly, you shouldn't be selling alcohol. But why you set up opposite the mosque? Can you see? So in this case, obviously a bit of hikmah, use of wisdom. Obviously you learn from this, don't you? Next time just say, take this and I'll take that and help. Because this is opening a doorway, isn't it? Opening a doorway for you to have a conversation with them. We have to be human. When we talk to non-Muslims, they have to see who you really are. Don't put on the, I'm in dawah mode. Okay? Okay, quickly, Kitab al-Tawheed, study Kitab al-Tawheed, Fiqh Sunnah, dawah mode. No. Be who you are. That person, he wants to be like you. Not this book that he read or so on, he wants to be you. So you've got to be who you are. So if you genuinely have concern, show general concern. That's how you should be, inshallah ta'ala. And that's how we should interact. This is how we should be. But to think that we have knowledge and I quote books and so, it doesn't work like that. The Anbiya, if you read their lifestyle, you see what they did. They used to speak to some people in secret, some people in open, some people in here. They used to try many different techniques. Why? What were they trying to connect to? What were they trying to connect to? Just the heart of the people. That's all they were trying to do, inshallah. So inshallah, I pray that answers the question.
I actually have a question, Ustadh. You see brothers nowadays, alhamdulillah, everyone starts practicing. And then you see there's groups there, there's a dawah group there, there's one group that have this agenda, everyone has their own agenda. And then what I see is a lot of brothers start basically refuting each other. So how do you think brothers should, because there's a lot of difference of opinion amongst them, or the way they may, you know, what they might follow, Allah Alam, but what do you say, you know, how they should tackle that?
Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalam ala Rasulullah. Don't ever think that having Jamaat is a bad thing in itself. Don't ever think having a gathering is a bad thing in itself. This first principle we need to understand. That the brothers, they're part of a Jamaat. I'm invited here today because I went to another event by the same Jamaat, mashallah, and I accepted, alhamdulillah. Jamaat, being organised is a good thing. Doing things with imaraship, leadership is a good thing. Organised. I'm a great practitioner of being organised, managing things and so on. That's how we should be. Muslims were told to pray 5 times a day at specific times. We are the best time managers, yes? We manage ourselves well. That's how we should be. So being in having Jamaat in themselves is not a bad thing. Now what you got to understand is, what is the purpose of a Jamaat? If the purpose of the Jamaat is to do dawah, then alhamdulillah, let them do that. If it's the purpose of the Jamaat is to do teaching, like we have these academies and that, alhamdulillah. Whatever the Jamaat is, you should have a mandate and you should do that. But the Jamaat in itself is not all Islam. When you come to do a certain duty, you can only do so much. Just before this talk, I was with another Jamaat. What Jamaat was that? Salatul Maghrib. That was the Salat. I was with another Jamaat. The Imam was who? The leader. I prayed behind him. I accepted him as my leader. I did that, I fulfilled that duty, I moved on. Come to another duty. Do a little talk, inshallah ta'ala. May Allah accept it from us. Brothers invite me. He is the Amir, he invited me. I am his guest. Doing things in an organised manner, no problem. Now the issue the brother is saying is when we have different people, maybe doing the same thing or slightly different thing, and they exert the energy attacking each other. This is not good. It's not from the principle of Al-Islam. You never had to live like the Prophet ﷺ and the companions, where the Prophet had the names of hypocrites. You know who a hypocrite is? He's destined not just for the hellfire, the lowest depth of hellfire. But the Prophet ﷺ, he didn't act or backbite them or have a go at them. Or, can you see? He never attacked them in front of non-Muslims. Not because it was like a war strategy or so on. Because as soon as you attack Muslim attacking Muslim looks bad. Doesn't help the deen in any way. Rather, those brothers who exert energy attacking others, go back to the original aim why you came together. Many of us, we joined the Jamaat because mashallah, there's maybe some people inspirational, knowledgeable. We join them so we can benefit from them. Then what happens? Oh, this is the only person I take anything from. Subhanallah, before that you used to take from what? Check Google. Jeremy Kyle on TV, if he said something, that's fine. Now all of a sudden, this is the only person I take for. Come on, you limit yourself doing this. Islam is vast. If you study the life of other people, you find that the Imam, even of the 4 Imams, Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, they used to study with each other. Students of each other. What are we? We set up a small Jama'ah, and what happens? We have a small budget, or we have something like that, we do a certain amount of activity, next thing we have to condemn everyone to make ourselves better. This is wrong. Go back to the principle, why did he set up? If it was for the betterment of Islam and humanity, this trade should not come up. So what is the solution to here? These people, all you can do is ask Allah to guide them. If you have a chance to chat to them, say, look, rather we work together on good. We have a similar mandate, dawah, let's do this. Okay, we can't work together, that's fine. You continue, we continue as well. Alhamdulillah, ikhtilaf. We have difference of opinion. But just to attack doesn't help, because it is wasted any energy. You waste so much energy doing this. And you know, one of the things we're not allowed to have is what is known as su'ad-dhan, evil thoughts. This is one of the things, I'm not a great practitioner of this, to have husnul-dhan, good thoughts. Don't ever think bad of a thing. Positive thinking, they say, yeah? Man, he'll have a PhD and he'll charge you maybe £300 an hour and he says, I want to teach you positive thinking. No, we have a free hadith. Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, have husnul-dhan, have good thought. And then what will happen? You get on with your life. You can get on and do things. So for these jama'ats, they need to have good thoughts of each other and continue. And if they don't, then alhamdulillah, what you continue as you are. Just do as you are. And inshallah, Allah knows best.
Sometimes when you buy stuff from a supermarket and you realise it's haram when you get home and you might have lost a receipt or something, is it okay to give it to your neighbours or you have to throw it away?
Is it okay to give it to your neighbour and so on? If something is haram for you, okay, to give it to your neighbour, you have to have a principle or somebody's done that before. Okay, so can you think of anything like that ever happened before? No? Okay, the answer is yes, you can. You can give it, okay? But there's a principle behind this. If giving this haram to the other person promotes their haram, okay? And so on and so on and so on. You got to outweigh it because there's command to good and evil. But can you give something like that? I'll give you an example. In the time of Umar radiallahu anhu, the Prophet ﷺ got a gift given. A big sheet of red silk. Prophet ﷺ didn't have a need for it. Because you can make certain things with silk. Gave it to Umar radiallahu anhu. Umar had it. Umar had the silk. He's not going to make a shirt out of it and so on. He thought, what can I do? I can't benefit from this. So he gave it to, who did he give it to?
His brother.
His brother, who was it?
He didn't embrace Islam.
He didn't embrace Islam, so he gave it to him because they can wear it. So you've got to outweigh it like that. Okay? You have to outweigh it like that. So you can, in principle, give it because we have evidence for it, but you have to outweigh it. Do you understand? No. I mean, inshallah, you're not going to get like a bottle of champagne or something. Oops, I thought that was a cherry aid. It's no way. And then I think, what should I do? Give it to the neighbour. No, and the neighbour, he said, I will invite you to stand. What did he say? It's not going to happen. Outweigh it. Just chuck it in the bin. Certain things like this. I'll give you an example, music. If you had old music and that, don't bother giving it to anybody. Just chuck that sort of stuff. It doesn't benefit anyone. Old music, CDs and that, you may have had from the old days, you know. Chuck it all away. This sort of stuff is no good. Films, chuck it all away and so on. But food, maybe, you know. Food, just eat it, khalas, you know, inshallah.
I wanted to know why music is haram.
Okay, inshallah. Alhamdulillah, salatu wasalam. Is actually music haram? Everyone's saying yes. See, with this music, there's ikhtilaf. I have to tell you as it is, ikhtilaf. The orthodox view, the mainstream view, is what? Haram. Because of the evidences. These evidences are to do with string instruments and so on and so on. This is what you find. But there are some scholars, they will say no, it's not haram. Because they look to the history and they find other people, they had music in their circles and so on and so on and so forth. My opinion is there's no benefit in this at all, even if the evidence is debated. And really music takes you away from the thing that you really want to get close to, which is what? Quran. One of the things I tell my children, the issue is when you're trying to do hifz, stop the music. Stop the music, stop the music. I have to tell them because I know once they leave here, what they do, they go listen to music because there's peer pressure and so on. So why is it haram? There is evidences for it. Can I quote you the evidences? There are many evidences to say that the wind instrument and these are part of the instruments of shaitan and so on. Will you accept it? Some scholars will say, yes, I accept it. Other scholars will say, no. So the question is, you have to outweigh it. But I'm going to tell you now, remember there's a principle as well. Al-bir husnul khuluq. The piety is good character. Al-ithum mahaka fi nafsik. The sin is the thing that doesn't settle in your heart. Now, if ever you put on music and you find it lifts you, that's fine. But you play that same music in front of your local imam. Do you think you'll be able to play that? If you're driving the car and you go past some group of elders, will you blast the music or turn it down? What will you do? You turn it down. So usually you find most people, even though they believe music is halal, when it comes to the people and in front of the people, all they do, turn it down because it doesn't settle in their heart. And the principle says, if you find a thing doesn't sit in your heart, leave it. That's what you're going to do. So generally that's what I would say. But music is a tough thing to give up. Because now what we've done, we've made music halal. We have these nasheed artists who originally started off with no instruments, and now what are they doing? Everything is instrument. Those who never used to play instruments, even now they're coming up with instrument. And they use a fatwa, say in Egypt one chef said this and that. The problem that you have. But from my own personal experience, and from a point of trying to progress yourself, leave that sort of stuff. It's just wasting time. You know, listen to an hour of Lady Gaga would make you Gaga, definitely. That's what it's not good. Okay? Leave this sort of stuff. There's no goodness in any of this stuff. Okay? Just leave it, and that's the best way to do it. And I bring up my kids like this. My kids are like that. Don't listen to music. But they don't go extreme. They don't go to McDonald's and say, oh my God, the music. And they don't go extreme. They just know in their own time, if they have a choice, they don't listen to it. You know, sometimes I sing nursery rhymes and that when I'm driving, and my daughter will say, stop that haram. And I say, now you're becoming an extremist. Inshallah, I pray that answers your question. It's a vague thing, you're going to have a difference of opinion. You know, I've travelled around the world, and like when I went to Egypt, the music was blaring. And then when I went, all the chefs, they play it and so on. These people, they memorized the Quran, they played the music. And then when I went to Medina, with my family, I was in Medina, one of the most peaceful cities, except for when it comes to dinner time or something like that. But it's one of the most peaceful cities. And then we're doing the ziyarah, and there was one guy coming near Uhud, he was blaring the music. And the guy who was originally from Medina, he said, you know that guy, that's Egyptian guy. He's Masri. It was like a curse. Only he would do that in the Prophet's city, play music. Can you see how it is? So inshallah, Allah knows best.
Yeah, and adding on to that, whenever someone listens to music, it just sticks on their head, and when they pray, it happens. Last time I heard the song, and then I couldn't, it was stuck in my head, like while prayer. It was while Jummah, it was stuck in my head, I couldn't forget it, even while the khutbah. Okay,
if there's any proof that you, mashallah, young brother telling us it sticks in your head, that's the problem with the music. And then you think, why can't I remember Fatiha? If you can't remember Fatiha, that's big trouble. Big trouble, okay? So that's what it is. It doesn't benefit anyway, inshallah. And even nasheeds give this up a little bit as well. Half the time listen to Arabic nasheed, do you even know what's been said? You don't know what has been said. So what rude you? The tune. The tune is the thing you want to give up. Give up all of that, inshallah. Thank you for that, brother. Jazakallah. Okay.
If someone is bad towards you, like another Muslim is bad to you, or if it's not a Muslim, I don't know if it's the same thing. But how should your attitude be towards them? If they're like very aggressive towards you, and you tell them to back off and not into this, but they're still coming at you, what should you do? Should you deal with it all?
That's a very good question, alhamdulillah. Did you all hear the question? How do you deal with people who are aggressive towards you, or basically rude towards you? Because you can get people who are very rude towards you and so on. What does Islam say about this? What you got to understand is being good and etiquettes, okay, is all about how people perceive you. Okay, it's about how you treat other people and so on. Now, if somebody is doing a dhulm upon you, an oppression upon you, Islam does not say, for example, that you just have to soak it up and smile. Islam doesn't say that. If someone has done dhulm upon you, oppression, then you have right for a grievance against them. And you're supposed to act in a certain way. Okay? The people before, what they would do is, if there were evil people in society, they would smile, and when they're good, and when they're bad, they smile in their face as well. And that is wrong. In Islam we have a principle, if someone is bad, and someone is doing bad things, then you can't treat him in the same manner as someone who's upon goodness. Okay? How do you deal with it? Like I say, if somebody, even this can happen in da'wah, you know that sometimes. You're talking to someone, a Muslim, and the Quran said this. the Bible said this. Okay, the Quran says this, ittaqillah. You know what the Bible said this, and Matthew Mark. And it continues like this. Next thing you know, you started off when you have intellectual debate, next thing you become aggressive. And then you go to hell, and you tend to go to hell. Can you see, it's all about, what is the mannerism here? That if people are good to you, what should it be? You should be polite, you should be well-mannered, you shouldn't get angry. Anger is not a good thing. We have very hot-blooded Muslims, always anger, you know. Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam. This is wrong. This is wrong. You've got to be calm, collected. And when someone's aggressive towards you, the best reaction is not to be aggressive. Obviously, if they want to lay a hand on you, block yourselves. But try to be calm. The anger is from shaitan. This person, after a while, when he realizes you're not aggressive back to the person, then what will happen? They'll calm down. But obviously, if you've got Muslims who want to beat upon you, they're ganged up and so on, obviously you've got to run away and do something like that. No, there's no point standing up taking a beating like that. Protect yourself, if this is the case, because we don't know what the example really is. But I'm just saying, generally, if you find people are rude to you, because I've had people rude to me, very rude to me. I said to a brother once, actually, we need to really get close to the Quran and so on. This brother doesn't even pray, clean shaven as you can get. There's no, what's Gillette now? What's the name? Gillette 3 or more than that? MashaAllah, subhanAllah, he gets the chopper out. We take one layer of skin off. That's what it's like. Okay? I said to him, actually, we need to get close to the Quran. The Quran says this and that. He said, don't tell me about the Quran. He said, don't tell me about the Quran. I'll interpret it as I want. Brother doesn't even pray. Can you see? So, very aggressive, isn't it? I could go and say to him, I didn't. I continued talking. What happened with this brother? One day he asked me, he said, can you teach me to pray? Alhamdulillah, I taught him to pray. Now, if I was aggressive with him at that time, what would happen? He would never refer back to me again. You have to, there's hikmah involved in this. You have to weigh it out, inshallah ta'ala. And Allah knows best. Each situation is different.
Last question, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Sometimes when you, or I can only speak for our community, the Asian community, when you, for example, go into a masjid and you know, like as you study, like, you might realize someone might miss a rukun in the salah or something, like, and it's an old chacha. I always find it hard, me personally, to go up to the person and tell him, you know, uncle, you have missed something in your salah, and because I'm thinking I might retaliate and go, why you know? So how do you approach and tell someone, you know, for example, they might have done a mistake, you know, something like that.
Okay.
Someone who's elder than you.
One of the things that, alhamdulillah, salatu wasalam, did you hear the question about correcting people and so on? The hadith said, min husni Islam al-mar tarku ma la ya'ni. From the goodness of people practicing Islam is that they leave things that doesn't concern them. Now, the salah, okay, the salah is something very individual, even when prayed in jama'ah, okay? It's you connecting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You when you pray, okay, obviously if you're going with the imam and the person makes a wrong move, then obviously there's cause. But you, when sometimes you sit and you finish your salah, you look at the people praying and that, you shouldn't do that. Leave them to it. Don't observe if they've done the ruku, what they're doing with their finger, the shout, are they the shot. Don't do this thing. This doesn't concern you, honestly. It doesn't concern you. Because you are doing what now? You're trying to find a fault. You understand? Don't start doing this sort of stuff. He didn't do Rafi al-Yadain properly, didn't go up to his ear. Don't do this. It's between him and Allah. You know all this action that you do, you follow a certain way. In the end, is it the deed that's going to give you Jannah or the mercy of Allah? Mercy of Allah. No matter how much you do, it's in the end. If Allah is not merciful towards you, you're not going to enter anyway. So what we do, we don't concern ourselves with other people's business too much. Rather, try to do your own thing. But if I find someone, the Qibla is in this direction and they're praying that dash, I will literally go up and go like that. Correct them in that sense. You know, that's the time to intervene. Wrong direction, intervene like that. But don't try to do this. We'll try to find faults in people so that we can just go up. I'll give you an example. When I was doing Umrah and I was doing the Sa'i, have you anyone done Umrah here before? You know the Sa'i, we go up and down. But just when we did the Tawaf, we had our shoulder, one of our shoulders uncovered, didn't we? A lot of people, what they do when they go to Sa'i, because it's so hot, they don't bother to cover themselves up. They think it's nice and cool, keep it as we are. Okay? So what I found when I was doing Sa'i, because that's some walking, by the way, Sa'i, up and down Safa and Marwa. There was one brother, he would come up to everyone and he'd go, this is not from the Sunnah, and fix them. Another person, this is not from the Sunnah, and he was doing it to the elders, the youngsters, everyone. I watched this brother, and you're supposed to make adhkar, dua as you going along. I watched him even put me off. Because it put me off. I'm trying to make dua. This is purification. This is your umrah, isn't it? Yes. The brother, he's not concerned with that. He's just everyone he could find, and he's giving them a lecture. This is bid'ah, bid'ah, bid'ah. Allah. Don't concern yourself with other people's business. It's not such a big deal. Not such a big deal. Don't concern yourself. Rather try to purify yourself, and if you see something obvious, then khalas, step in at that time. Step in at that time. Inshallah, this is from the hikmah, the wisdom of how you carry yourself. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best.
One question, just an extra one, yeah. You know, you were saying, if you do a sin, then do a good deed. How can you balance, you know, if your sin, like, if it's how big it is, how much of a good deed to do?
MashaAllah, alhamdulillah, salatu salam. Do you hear the question? How do you balance it? There is no balance. Do you know what it is? You're always a winner when you do that. Because when you do an evil deed, it's counted as an evil deed. One deed, yes? But when you do a good deed, you are wiping out 10 evil deeds. It's not a balance. As soon as you do it, you're a winner straight away. Because the reward for the good is 10 times. So that's the whole idea. Just do it. Because, okay, maybe that sin of backbiting wasn't covered, but you don't know what you've been doing. Just the fact that you did one good deed is 10 times the evil deed that you may have done somewhere else. You're covering 10 sets of evil deeds. There's no balance. It's rather the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah on His mizan, He said when you do a good deed, 10 times the one evil deed that you do. So just do it. Don't be too calculative. There's certain things that you need to do, make proper tawbah for, yes? And maybe there's some kafara that you have to do. But generally, don't think about it. Make istighfar. Ask Allah to forgive. Do, because if istighfar is a good deed, then you do it. Keep doing this. Because what you're doing, every evil deed, 10 times over, you're going to try and wipe them out. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best.
Alhamdulillah. Let's take the lessons from this talk, inshallah, and try implement in our life. May Allah guide us and keep us steadfast upon this deed. Alhamdulillah.